Welcome to the Excelsior Health Podcast. Guys, this is the podcast for busy professionals and busy parents that, listen, you're maybe battling with weight gain, high stress, and a drop of self-confidence. What we do on this podcast, guys, we take the complicated aspects of fitness, nutrition, transforming your health, and we give you guys simple tactics that you could implement into your lifestyle so that way you could lose fat, build muscle, and improve your confidence. I'm Coach Corey Fernandez, owner of Training for Warriors Sauga. This is my co-host,
Coach Susie.
How are we feeling today?
We feel good.
This is episode, I don't remember, 10, 11, 12, but we still here. All right. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the podcast so far. One thing that I want to start off by is if you guys are getting value from the podcast, please do us a favor, share the show. All right. It really helps us spread more reach. We can help more people getting this information out. Those of you guys, I do appreciate so many of our clients, when they come in and say, man, Coach, I listened to the episode. That was so good. I just kind of hold my heart and I'm like, man, they're listening. So it was a really cool feeling seeing that. And, if you guys do get really good value from this, one thing that will help us get more access is Apple, Spotify reviews, comments on YouTube. So any of those would be much appreciated. So thank you guys for that. Now, basically today we got a good episode. What we're going to talk about is the 4 phases of the transformation journey. All right. So I want you guys to understand there's a process to change, right? Like you just don't achieve amazing results by fluke or by accident. And, it's been 10 years now that we've owned Training for Warriors Sauga. For me, it's probably been maybe 15 years as a coach. So there's some things that we've learned along the way, and we've really formulated it into a system that if we take people through the system, they're going to get results.
Yeah.
And one of our most popular sayings, actually, let me see if you remember. What's our saying about systems? If you
work the system,
finish it.
I don't know.
If you work the system,
I'm having a blank. If you work the system,
the system will work for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we try to be cute.
I wasn't prepared for that one.
Yeah, the system works.
I remember it.
Plain and simple. The system works if you work the system.
Yes.
All right. So, for example, this is what we use with our clients. But whether you're our client or not, you can kind of have an understanding of the journey that you are going to have to go through for yourself. Okay. So step 1, Susie, what's phase 1, I should say?
Phase 1, when someone joins the program, they're in a Lifestyle Kickstart phase.
Right. So typically with the Lifestyle Kickstart phase, how long should someone expect to be in that phase?
12 weeks. 12 weeks where they're learning, they're integrating, they're making lifestyle and training movement a part of, their lifestyle, building, different habits, healthy habits.
So if I were to give you guys some concrete numbers, what I would think is 70 to 100 days. That is a really good lifestyle phase. And what this is you go from being, and the people we're talking to is right now you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, you're in your 50s, you're in your 60s. All right. You're a busy professional. You're a busy parent. You maybe have dabbled with fitness on and off, but maybe never fell in love with it or never just got those results that you were overly proud about. This is you having that emotional moment. Maybe you went to the doctor and the doctor's like, hey man, your cholesterol is out of control. You're pre-diabetic. You need to make a change. And then you go on Google and you're searching and you're starting to think, man, I got to sign up. I got to do something. That might be your scenario. Somebody else is like, man, you went on vacation and maybe you're with a group of people and you're looking around at the other couples or the other people, the friends, and you're like, oh my God, I am not happy with the way I look. I bought these clothes and I don't even want to wear them. And that's your breaking moments. Or maybe it's man, you're at work and you just are burnt out. You're like, dude, I can't keep my mental focus. I have no energy. Something needs to change in my life. This is when you start your lifestyle phase.
Another lots of different scenarios is, hey, maybe you're going through a breakup or a divorce and you're like, you know what? I've been giving myself to my relationship, to my spouse. This is where I let myself go. And now I feel like crap and I need to, take control of my life and feel confident again, the person I used to be.
Yeah.
Right? That happens a lot.
And a lot of times it is rock bottom, but it's not always rock bottom, but you're in a pain point and you're just like, man, I got to change some shit. Like, I am not happy with where I'm at. This is the lifestyle kickstart. What typically needs to happen in this phase is, number one, you need to figure out, what the heck is my goal? Like, what am I focusing on right now? That's number one, right? Is having some direction of what you want to accomplish. So, for example, let's just say, like, we'll do a little interview here. Susie's my client. I'm the coach. Act like a typical client who's maybe lost and confused of what their goal would be.
Okay. This is like a meeting?
Yeah. So, hey, Susie, what's the main goal that you want to accomplish?
I want to lose weight.
Okay. How much weight do you want to lose?
10, 15 pounds.
Okay. How much weight do you weigh right now?
Typically 130.
Okay. So do you know how much you weigh?
I think so, 130.
Okay. So let's go with 130. So basically what you're saying, Susie, is you're 130 pounds. You want to lose 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Do you have a body fat percentage goal?
I haven't measured that in a while, so I'm not sure where I'm at, but I think I'm pretty fit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So for example, this is what I'm trying to say is, as a coach, we get people to be very specific on their goals. Most people do what Susie did is, I want to lose some weight, or like, I want to be strong. I want more energy. Like, those are good things, but those are things that are measurable. So part of this lifestyle phase is getting very clear and specific. What's the main outcome that I want to accomplish? And if I were to go back to with Susie, it might be like, okay, hey, Susie, we want to lose 10 pounds of body fat, and we're going to do this in 10 weeks. And at the end of the 10 weeks, you're going to be 120 pounds, 22% body fat. And that's one of her goals that might be important to her. Mm-hmm. Someone else might come in and like, they're just like, hey man, like, my main goal is performance. I want to be able to run 5 kilometers because I signed up to this marathon when I was drunk with my friends, and now I got to run this race and I don't want to hurt myself. Right? So like, that's step one, is getting a very clear and specific goal. Yeah. Right? What else, when we're doing the meeting, Susie, that you think when it comes to the goal, what do you think is like that next layer behind the goal that they need to kind of get clear on?
Their why. So their purpose, their reasoning, that emotional connection that is more than just losing weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would be like an example of a why power?
An example of a why power is, hey, I'm going to be a grandma soon and I want to live up until 80 years old to be able to run with my grandkids and be at my grandkids' wedding. So I want to be healthy. I want to feel energized. And I want to be active without them, pushing me on a wheelchair.
Yep. Another why power is like, hey, man, I've been in a shit relationship for decade plus, and now I'm divorced, and it's my time to live up to my potential and attract the partner that I've always wanted to have. Mm-hmm. That's an emotional reason why.
Yeah.
Another one might be like, man, I'm so disgusted with the role model that I've become to my kids. I'm overweight. They see me on the couch, no energy. I'm irritable. Like, I need to be a better example for my kids because I see them picking up some of my tendencies in the way I talk. This is what we call why power. Mm-hmm. So step one in your transformation in this lifestyle phase is, hey, you got to have a goal. It has to be measurable. There has to be some sort of timeline in there. And typically it should be a long-term goal. Yeah. Not just like something for 4 weeks. Most of the goals that we set with people, man, sometimes they're 2 years, they're 18 months, they're 12 months. Yeah. One saying that I really love to say is people will significantly overestimate what they can do in 12 weeks, but they'll underestimate what they can accomplish in 12 months of like consistent intentional action. Right? So that's that part. Another aspect of this phase is for most people, not always, I think it's having a mentor.
Yeah.
So it could be hiring transformation coaches like us and joining a system, or maybe it's like you're reading a book, right? You're listening to someone's YouTube, you're listening to a podcast, but it's having some sort of influence to change the way you think, change the way you act, and raise your standards in your life, right? Other aspects that I would put that are super important in this lifestyle phase is you have to commit to movement. And specifically, what we think is important is you start to work out 3 days a week.
3 days, typically mainly strength strength training.
Yeah, like most people, I think 3 days a week of some sort of movement is better than nothing. So whether it's riding a bike, it's yoga, it's Pilates, that's something.
Yeah.
But ideally, what we would recommend is a commitment to 3 days a week of strength training, right? So that's a huge part. And specifically looking back after that 100 days or that 90 days, that 70 days, and saying, holy shit,
Yeah.
for the first time in a decade, for the first time in 5 years, 2 years, I worked out 3 days a week consecutive, despite birthday parties, work stress, vacation, feeling emotionally off, whatever the reason is, I did that. This is so important to transformation, is making this lifestyle. Now, let me ask you a question, Susie. When someone's going through this experience of the lifestyle phase, how would you describe from your perspective, how do they feel maybe physically, or even how might they feel mentally or emotionally during this time?
During this time, in the beginning or at the end?
In the beginning, like in the process of going through this lifestyle phase, the 70 to 90 days, I'm training 3 days a week.
Yeah.
I'm learning about like what's real food and protein and carbs. I'm changing my schedule. Like, what would you say?
I think for someone who is integrating and making fitness and health and nutrition a part of their lifestyle, like, it's like walking into your first day of class, or like you're scared, you're nervous, but then you're excited at the same time because you're taking a step to changing yourself. You don't know what to expect, but like definitely, it's scary, I think.
Yeah,
you're nervous.
scary is a good word.
It's scary because you just don't know the end result or the outcome, or what the hell did I sign up for?
Yeah.
Right? It's the unknown.
And you're talking again from like sign up, like member.
Yeah.
Somebody might be going through this phase and they might be doing this on their own.
Yeah.
Right. But if we were to say, usually there is probably a financial investment for someone. You're signing up to a coaching program. Maybe it's an online program. Maybe you just went to the equipment store and you bought a bunch of equipment. Like, I think like what you're saying, it's like the fear is like, man, I just made an investment. Am I going to like get a return on this? Or I was vocal and I told my husband or I told my family that I'm doing this. Am I going to fail?
Yeah.
Like, are people going to make fun of me that I started again and I stopped? Like that, there's the fear of failure that is big.
But I think, like, I would say I see the difference in our clients after 2 weeks. Now they're smiling. Now they're excited. Now they're getting used to the flow and what to expect. And now they're just excited for what's to come after it because their energy is so much better. Their mobility is better. So, like, they're just more positive and they're just excited after.
I don't know if I would say, I don't think I would agree in 2 weeks.
Well, I feel like after 2 weeks, like when you see someone, they're more excited because now they're not like, it's not their first day of school. Now it's their second.
Yeah, but they're still like, I feel like in 2 weeks, they're more like, oh man, I like these people. Or like I'm liking the feeling of working out, but like I think they're still scared.
Yeah.
They still don't know if the results, because in 2 weeks you're not gonna see much. Maybe your energy goes up, but you're not gonna see significant change in most cases. I would also add is in this first, especially 4 to 8 weeks, your body's like, what the fuck? Like, I'm working out. I'm jumping up and down.
Yeah, you're sore.
I'm sore. Like, I've never worked my gluteus maximus in this technique. Like, you're doing stuff that you've never done before, especially if now you're walking and like, Your coach is telling you, hey, you got to get to bed earlier. And you're so used to sitting up at night watching Netflix with your partner. It's like, it's a lot to change.
You're like, what? Water? I drink coffee and pop all day. Now I'm drinking water.
So
it is a lot.
Another word I would describe, it can be a little bit overwhelming. But that's the importance of having a coach who's in your corner, reinforcing it to you. And even if it's not a coach, maybe it's a mentor. It's someone who's just a little further ahead who can kind of talk you off the ledge and say, hey, man, this is normal, man. It's normal to be sore. You're going to be a little bit uncomfortable. This is what you got to do. So I guess to recap this phase of the Lifestyle Kickstart, you're making the start, you're getting a specific goal, you are discovering and thinking about, man, what's my emotional reason why this goal matters to me? In most situations, I'm going to have some sort of coach or mentor support me. I'm starting to understand, or maybe not understand, I'm starting to dabble into what's real food. Yeah. Like, I got to drink water. I got to get more familiar with like, what is protein? What are carbs, right? These are some of the more fundamental things. And then as we said, is you got to move. So in most cases, it's committing to 3 days a week of strength training. And then now the outcome that I would say you should expect in this first 70 to 100 days for most people, what we produce on a consistent basis is someone loses on the low end 6 pounds of body fat, but upwards to 15 pounds of body fat, which is a really, really great short-term result.
Yeah.
That builds momentum, but it just builds a little bit of confidence. That's like, wow, I worked out 3 days. I got a result. This thing works. It actually works when you work the system.
Yeah.
Anything else that you would add to that?
In that phase though too, even though someone comes in scary, there's more people like you. So when you do come in, you're not the only one. So like you're going to meet other clients or people and you're like, oh, it's your first week. It's my first week. So it makes it fun that way because then you started a journey with someone and then you build that relationship as well.
Yeah. And I like that. That's specifically like within our facility. Yeah. I think the other part to that is like people look around and they're like, oh yeah, like you said, there's people like me. Yeah. But like when someone walks into our doors, or maybe even right now, you might go onto a certain Instagram page and you're like, oh my God, everybody's so fit. It just seems that way because you're not into it. But when you come in here, you see, oh man, there's other busy professionals just like me. Exactly. And we're all just going at our pace, trying to be the best that we can. And we thrive off each other's energy. Yeah. So that's step one. All right. Really important. Sometimes that could be the hardest part, guys, is just literally starting. But, to get to the goal, there is going to be more adversity that you got to go through. But I hope I don't butcher it. Like one of the quotes from Zig Ziglar on I have it actually.
I was actually thinking about that.
There you go.
You don't have to be great to start,
but you got to start to be great.
Yes.
So hopefully that resonates with you right now, is you're not going to have all the things align where it's like, it's the perfect time and, all these things happen. It's like, no, man, you just got to start and you're giving yourself the opportunity to eventually be great at some of the things that we're talking about.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on. What's phase 2?
Phase 2 is Warrior Shred.
So in Warrior Shred, what would you say is the main outcome that happens from Warrior Shred?
So Warrior Shred, this is where you've built some of the habits and now you're implementing it more. So now instead of doing 3 strength, you're adding 1 metabolic cardio session in to help elevate that extra movement that your body needs. So you're doing strength, yes, and now you're getting that heart rate where you're sweating and burning extra calories in one of our cardio classes is what we like to call it.
You're going more tactical.
Okay.
I'm talking about more like, what's the result? Like,
the result?
When we're in this Warrior Shred phase, what's this person trying to do? Where are they trying to go from?
So like losing more body fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
And this is most people, some people, obviously you might be really slim and but most people, who we're talking to on this podcast is you're a little bit overweight. You got a high body fat percentage. You're not where you want to be. So what this Warrior Shred phase is now that you've got some short-term results, it's about taking you from an unhealthy weight or an unhealthy body fat percentage and getting you into that healthy category. So for men, we want to be under 20%. Like that's a fundamental thing. Like in this phase, for me, it's like, man, if I'm working with a guy who's in his 30s, high 20s, let's get them out of that stage into the healthy category. So for most men, I would say, 16 to 20%, like you're healthy, right? You're not at risk of like chronic diseases and diabetes. In most cases, you shouldn't be. But there's still a lot more room for improvement, right? Especially if you need to add more muscle mass, like there's lots more opportunity for improvement.
Yeah.
Then what I would say is like 13 to 15%, this is really fit. So for a lot of guys, this is where you start to see more of a flatter stomach, a lot more definition overall. So it's a really good place for guys to maintain, and it's very maintainable. Is like what I would say. It's not so hard to get there. You can get there. Now, where you want to say, fit and lean now, right? Now we're talking more like 10 to 13% body fat. And for a lot of guys, that's where you're starting to see that six-pack start to come in. And you're starting to be way more vascular, a lot more definition overall. And if you want to be ripped, I would say, hey, under 10%, for guys that are 6 to 8%, they're very, very lean.
That's
right?
crazy.
You want to take through some of the ranges for women?
For women, typically it's under 30% to be healthy. So, 25 to 29%, it's okay. Like you're not obese or anything. You're slim, you're healthy, but you could improve, right? And then 20 to 25 is this person's pretty fit. Now they're active, they're moving more, they're lifting. Anything under, 20% from 15 to like 20 is like, now they're more defined.
Yeah, that's we would say it's more lean now.
Yeah, now you're lean.
20%.
You can see, their arms defined. You can see, some definition in their core. But anything under like 15%, I would say you're
close to it. Yeah,
you're really ripped. Like
10 to 15% for most women are pretty lean, and you're gonna see some abs.
That's where you have to be like more disciplined. You're more restricted. You're eating. Warrior 20, which is like protein, water, like not really having that much cheat meals. Like you're really regiment when it comes to like your nutrition and your schedule, I would say.
So going back, like what we're talking about right now is the warrior shred phase. The main thing, like we just explained the different range to give you guys perspective. Hey, we're going to take you from a guy who's in the unhealthy category. We got to get you under 20%. That's the main outcome. From a woman, we got to get you from the unhealthy category. We got to get you under 30%. Yeah. That's what that phase is about. Now, what are the things that you're going to do? Like Susie started to go and say is, in most cases, hey, we're going to step up the physical activity. So this is where, like, a lot of times you're not just doing 3 days of training. You're probably doing a little bit more. 4, maybe 5. Now maybe you're mixing in some high-intensity cardio in there. Now maybe you're increasing your walks and you're paying attention to your step count a little bit more, trying to get those 10K steps.
Yeah.
Other things like Susie was mentioning, this is where you start to track habits. So you're tracking like, man, am I drinking water? Am I eating the right amount of protein? Like we've had previous episodes that you guys can go back on where we go, over the 8 habits of a winning warrior. We go over the high 5 factors where you can learn how to track these habits. But this is fundamental to getting yourself in the healthy category and continuing to move forward. Yeah. Other things that we would say would be really important here is you're establishing routines and rituals, right? So it's like, what's my morning look like? The first hour of my morning. What does my evening routine look like? Because if you don't control your morning and your evenings, it's really hard to like have the energy to eat properly or have the energy to work out and have the energy to be present with your kids. Yeah. So a lot of your productivity and your schedule gets worked on in this phase. And that's a lot of what we spend time with as a coach too, helping people see where they can fit things and how to change their schedule. Yeah. So key points, I think it's definitely increasing your training to 4 days a week. Now you're adding in more walks. You're tracking habits and potentially calories and macros. You're getting a little bit more fine-tuned on that. What am I missing? Our routines and our rituals. Yeah. And then I didn't mention this before too, but now, sleep is definitely a bigger focal point as well. Like you definitely got to pay attention to your sleep. in this stage to be able to get these results. So there's no set timeline, when you're in a warrior shred phase, because everybody's going in at different times. If someone comes in and they got 10 more pounds of body fat to get into this category, they can have a sprint. But other people, they might need to lose 70 pounds.
Yeah.
So our way of coaching, that I think if you listen to any pretty established fitness professionals, they're going to be in a very similar agreement, is 1 pound a week of fat loss is really good. All right. It's really good, consistent results. So 1 pound a week is a good philosophy that we preach. That means, hey, 4 pounds of fat in a month.
Yeah.
So that person who's maybe 12 pounds away from getting into the healthy category, you know what? In 3 months, they can kind of transition out of that warrior shred phase. However, the person who's 70 pounds, well, guess what? That might take them 16 months to get out of this phase, right? Other ways of how it can be done even faster is 2 pounds per week, which would be 8 pounds of fat loss in a month. That's still very healthy and it's still very possible. My only thing I would say, it's above average results.
Yeah.
So typically for us, it's like, man, people that are 40 plus pounds, yeah, we're trying to push them to be 2 pounds a week.
Yeah.
Because it can be done.
Yeah.
But like, once you start dropping under 25 pounds, 20, 15, like 1 pound a week is tough. It's not easy to do that.
Yeah.
And then when you're going even a little bit less, 10 pounds, hey, it might be half a pound a week, which is 2 pounds of fat loss in a month. And a lot of people will roll their eyes and be like, oh man, that's so slow. If you lost 2 pounds of fat per month consistently and just getting better and executing, for most people, that's 24 pounds in a year. A lot of people, if they lost 24 pounds in a year, they would feel way more confident and they would feel way more healthy. All right. So next phase, what's number 3?
Warrior build.
All right. So warrior build, what's the focus?
Building muscle, right? Getting more stronger, looking more lean, getting more defined, right? Your focus on strength training and lifting to your full potential.
Yeah. And honestly, all the phases are super exciting to me as a coach now because I see so much clarity. It's like phase 1 in the Lifestyle Kickstart, it's like they start working out. Or like in the beginning, they're like, oh, fuck, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
But then it's like by the end of it, they're like excited. They got smiles. They're starting to feel competent and confident around the facility or with their program. Warrior Shred, it's like breakthroughs start to happen where it's like, wow,
Their close fit's different.
Yeah, I lost this amount. People are starting to notice the impact. Warrior Build is like...
I think this is my favorite for some reason.
It might be the favorite. Like when you see someone get there, is they look and act differently.
Yeah.
Because in this stage, it's focused on performance. And you're doing things that you probably never thought you could do.
Yeah.
For a lot of women, it's like...
I'm doing chin-up.
But even before the chin-up, it's push-ups.
Yeah.
I'm doing real push-ups. Like I'm lifting real weights, whether it's a deadlift on 200, 300 pounds.
Or it's like you graduate from the modifications progressions that we give.
You've worked on your mobility.
Body weight, now I'm on the bar. Like that's a big progression for someone.
And you can see how we get excited because it's important, man. Like seeing someone do their first chin-up, and then we've seen people do their first chin-up, and then now they're doing 10 chin-ups. Like even I've seen you, like, the most chin-ups you've done is 19.
19 max in a row.
It's insane. You know what I'm saying? Seeing people be able to do that, but also going back to your own journey, and for a lot of women, like I'm thinking about Angela right now. I'm thinking about Carol.
Like, it's crazy.
It's like, but even Nikessa, it's like when you start lifting some heavy weight, you start running faster, you start being able to move your body around, your body changes. Right? So that's the thing about Warrior Build. It's not so much that, oh my God, I got to eat less food. I got to diet. No, it's like, man, if anything, you might learn to eat more.
Reverse dieting. Right?
Reverse dieting is something that we start to teach in this stage. But it's the stronger you get, the more emphasis on progressive overload, the more your performance improves, the more your body changes, but also I would say your overall health.
Yeah.
What would be I know I talked a lot about physical, but like in the warrior build, what would be like maybe a mental or emotional aspect of it that you think comes into play?
The mental part, definitely like your confidence, because you just feel stronger, you have more energy, and then you're just confident because of those things, because you're challenging yourself, you're doing different tests, you're getting PRs that like you're just different because like you challenge yourself, and overall you just feel like a different person.
And one quote that I love that just has always stuck with me, and got it from Ed Milet, is confidence comes from the promises you make to yourself, right? And even more specific, it's like it's keeping the promises you make to yourself. It's keeping those commitments. So it's like when you had this goal and this vision of like, man, I want to be able to lift this much and do this much, and then you start doing it, it's like, man, there's just another muscle of confidence that gets built within your mind and with your heart, and like it opens up your trust within yourself. And this is like, again, an emotional and mental aspect that a lot of people don't realize that comes through working out. Is like you do stuff that you've never done before. Now you're able to take a little bit more risk in your career because you're like, man, I've done uncomfortable shit before.
Yeah.
Now when you're going through a little bit of hard stuff, maybe in your relationship, you know how to tolerate some stress, and you know how to kind of persevere because you're used to having some stress on your back when you're going for a deep squat or whatever it might be. All right. But that's the main thing, guys. So like in this, a couple things is I would say in this build phase, you're definitely more focused on I would say prehab.
Like the physical therapy.
Like now, because you're training harder, you got to be a little bit more cautious. Like you train harder, you got to recover harder.
Yeah.
So you might be, having a relationship with a physiotherapist that, hey, maybe once a quarter you're getting a checkup just to make sure everything's moving good. Maybe you do cold showers or ice tub a little bit more. Maybe you have a little bit of a mobility routine that helps you loosen up your hips or your back or your shoulders. Those are things that someone starts to pay attention to more.
Yeah.
Where in the beginning, maybe they're just like, man, how do I do this warm up?
And show up.
And just show up.
Through it. Yeah.
Right. I think other aspects of the warrior build phase is you're challenging yourself more. Like you're actually like setting milestones and you're like, man, I want to do this performance challenge. Mm-hmm. For some people in this phase, they might be signing up for marathons.
Yeah. Like I guess in this phase for us specifically, like we have our Legion status that people are now they're looking at the board and trying to hit those status.
Yeah. Right? We have certain performance things that we get our clients to chase afterwards. And it's like when people hit this, it's usually correlated to them being healthier, looking better, feeling stronger, because they put the time to build themselves up to be those people.
Yeah.
So your performance tests and evaluations, you're doing those more now. You're doing things maybe outside of your typical fitness routine. Like now you're opening up the doors of, hey, I want to do a marathon. I want to do high rocks. I want to play sports. I want to join a basketball team. I haven't played in 5 years because now I'm in more shape. Reverse dieting, like Susie said, is like, man, maybe you have spent the last 12 months working on being in a calorie deficit, but now in order to train harder, you have to rebuild your metabolism by increasing back some more calories. Mm-hmm. And that's a whole nother topic that we're not going to go deep into, but that's part of that journey.
Yeah.
Other things that I would say is like, maybe in this part too, that we coach a lot of our clients on, it's like, now you're thinking about not only building muscle, it's building your relationships.
Yeah.
Because you really care about your lifestyle at this point, your health, how you look. And you might even look around at your current relationships and be like, man, like some of these people that I used to resonate with and connect with, I don't know, it's not the same. And it's because maybe your priorities have changed. You're more health conscious. You're more focused on personal development. And some of those people that you hang around with, you used to hang around with them doing things that maybe don't serve you anymore.
Yeah.
So it really makes you look at your circle and your relationships a little bit more. But last but not least, guys, the last phase of transformation, what do we call it, Susie?
Excelsior Way of Life.
All right. Excelsior for us is a very important core value. Excelsior for us, it basically means there's no such thing as perfection, but we're chasing excellence. And that's what we call this podcast, Excelsior Health Podcast. We can't be perfect at fitness. I got flaws. Susie's got flaws. You have flaws. But what we can do using this information is we can raise the standards in the 5 different areas of training, nutrition, recovery, mindset, and our environment. So once someone gets to this Excelsior way of life, really what happened is that goal that they initially set, and maybe even along the way, they created some other goals, man, they transformed. They hit that goal. And now every other aspect of their life has been enhanced because they went through this transformation process. Mm-hmm. So as a mom, you know what I mean? Or as a father, like your influence on your kids is that much stronger because they look at you and they say, holy shit, Dad, like you changed.
Yeah. Like this phase is definitely is a part of who you are, is a part of your lifestyle. It's just what you do now.
Yeah.
Like you're not the same without it.
But like the point I'm trying to say too is like you see the changes in other areas.
Yeah, for sure.
Your relationship.
Yeah.
Right. But hey, here's a side point. I don't want to deter anybody. Your relationship could get so much better. But also what I've seen is certain relationships drift apart because one person is super focused on their health. The other person didn't make that switch. And then there could be some tension there. Right. But there's way more positive.
Yeah.
But then other aspects, hey, professionally, like just think about it. You're so good at your job.
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't have the energy to keep going and doing other things. Or sometimes you don't have the confidence because of the way you look. And now you've transformed your health. People want to speak to you more. They're like, whoa, dude, you're in great shape. What's going on? And I don't care what anybody says. Yes, you could be overweight and you could be like unhealthy and be great at your job. If you look a certain way, people will open up more doors for you.
It's like they already respect you. Like your physical appearance already gives you the, what's that word? I guess the respect to people because they're like, wow, that person put in the discipline and the hard work to get to where they are.
It's a walking resume. If you're fit and you're very lean and you're healthy, people automatically look at you and say, holy shit, this guy's put together. He's got discipline.
Yeah.
He keeps his word to himself. Mm-hmm. Right? Like he knows how to work hard. He knows how to follow a program.
You respect yourself.
You respect yourself.
Yeah, there's just...
Right? It just opens up opportunities, right? And that's the whole point of Excelsior Way of Life is you've gone through this transformation. Now you can start living life at your full potential. Go on the vacations you want to go. Build the relationships you want to build. Live the life that you want. Mm-hmm. And what the point you were saying too, this is just your norm now.
Yeah.
Like fitness is a part of who you are as a person. Like there's no going back. Like it's just, this is my life. And hopefully this is a big inspiration for us is now you've become the one in your inner circle where other people's trajectory changes because of you. Co-workers that spend time with you, they want to be healthier. Your kids want to be more fitter. Your family wants to think about walking more.
Yeah.
Right. It just starts the ripple effect. So hopefully, guys, today, actually, before we go, just in case I didn't say it, like the key things that happen in the Excelsior Way of Life is like training isn't something that you don't do. Mm-hmm. Our motto is 4 days for life. You work out 4 days a week. It doesn't matter if you're on vacation or not. It's just who you are as a person.
Yeah.
You walk, you prioritize movement. It's something that like happens. Mm-hmm. Other things would be, what would be other key focuses that we would have here? I would say another huge one is nature. Like, man, you spend time outdoors.
Yeah, because you're walking outdoors too.
Yeah. It's a big part of your life. From a mindset perspective, it's not just what are my goals. It's like now you're more clear what your values are as a person.
You start to build yourself mentally too.
Yeah, but like things like gratitude.
Yeah.
We start paying attention to being more appreciative to our body, but then just overall in life. You're someone who now even like you start to learn more. You spend more time learning, right? When you work out, you got to learn. You got to learn techniques. You got to learn things. But that opens up the door to, do I read more? Do I listen to podcasts more?
Yeah.
Right? So hopefully, guys, today in this episode, you have a much more understanding of the journey that's going to go on to transform, or what are some categories that you got to focus on along the way.
Like, Yeah, depending where they're at.
Yeah. And you can see yourself like, hey, right now, are you in the lifestyle phase? Are you in warrior shred? Are you in warrior build? Are you in Excelsior Way of Life? Right? So if you need help starting your journey, or if you need help advancing to the next step, this is what this podcast is about. So keep listening to it. But if you want to take it to a next step, that's what Training for Warrior Sauga is all about. Where this is what we specialize in. This is the system that we've built. If you want more information on that, guys, go to tfwsauga.com and you could book a free consultation and you can get more information. Anything else? Any closing words, Susie?
If you work the system
will work.
the system will work.
All right. So listen, man, we look forward to helping you guys prioritize your 5 pillars of Excelsior Health. And we look forward to helping you guys bring in all your future warrior within. Coach Corey signing out.
Coach Susie, beasted.